Advice for new teachers. Some basic things. Be competent at your field, whatever you're teaching. And remember, we're teaching high school stuff, not PhD stuff or college stuff. I don't care if someone has a PhD. Woohoo, it's not going to help when you're teaching Algebra 1. Have a PhD in math all you want, but Algebra 1 is Algebra 1. Someone who graduated high school could teach it. So focus on being competent at your subject and remember it. You know, you get even a bachelor's in some subject, you go way beyond what you did in like high school. So you got to go back and study it. Basic physics, basic geometry, basic writing, you know. You got to revisit that from your different perspective, your more advanced, wise, educated perspective. But prepare before you go into class, dig into things, get some other teachers' advice, you know, do a variety of problems in that thing, see what, and the way to be competent is you got a certain concept, know what other concepts and facts and things lead into it, and know where you're going to go with it. Don't just look at the thing itself, look at the context, conceptually, logically. What logically does this depend on? What logically does it lead to? Like having a proper conception of heat is something we needed for the atomic theory. It's something we needed. We used to understand energy more. To get a proper conception of heat, we need to know about energy. We need to know about conservation of energy and going from kinetic and potential, like potential into kinetic into temperature change. We need to know about temperature. We need to know Rumford's experiments, about friction and things that, like Rumford's experiment, that show us that motion can generate heat. Or, you know, you want to know calculus? Well, you know, you got to know algebra, arithmetic, geometry. It's going to lead into understanding generally about changes, like gradations of change and how changes can add up to make a total conceptually in different areas, like with blood moving through the vessels, or a river going around a curve, or money building up. There's times when we use concepts of calculus without using it mathematically and numerically. Goes into physics, goes into engineering, stuff like that. Statistics, you know? So that's kind of how to think about it. Do the subject. Do examples of that kind of thing to make sure you remember ahead of time. And know where it came from, where it's going to. Competent at your subject. And then you got to suffer looking stupid a little bit at first, even later when you teach, but especially at first. Deal with it. Everybody does that. Most everybody. You're not alone. Just adapt and roll with the punches, please. Be interesting. Know more than your subject. Know why it matters. Have more interest in life as much as you can. Sometimes we're busy, we got work, you got a family, but there's still always things we know. You know, think about how they're relevant to education, relevant to learning, relevant to your subject, and bring them into play. Make use of things in life where your subject in education comes into play. have a lot of interest. Be an interesting person. Even if you know a subject and you're competent at it, and you're boring, you're not going to be effective. You know, and part of this is caring about your subject. It's not just an academic issue, but invest in it. If you really studied that subject, well, where does it come up in life? You know, have interest in cooking or fitness or art or sailing or parenting and all kinds of things. Think about how they're relevant. You know, make connections. Be interesting in some way. Do things that people care about. You know, be a good human. Don't be a jerk. And realize that most other people are good humans. Sometimes when they're younger, they just need to learn how to be, but they still want to be. But basically this, and you got it made. There's still outliers you got to deal with, some things like that. Maybe 90% you got it made, 10%, or maybe the 80-20 rule, you know, 80-20 for a lot of things. So 80-20, 90-10, 95-5, whatever, 99-1. But be good at what you do, be interesting, be a good human, and you got it made. You know, don't be a jerk, be nice, be moral, be careful about how you judge people, consider causality, don't jump to conclusions about people, think, be wise, step back, ask other teachers what their experience is with that kind of student or that kind of situation, learn. It's part of being a good human. Self-sovereign social animal. That's what humans are. We're self-sovereign. We make up our own mind, but we're also social animals. You got that kind of like yin and yang, or kind of like paradox or seeming contradiction going on. On the one hand, we're like, don't tell me what to do. On the other, we're like, wait for me. So you realize students are like that too. You know, we're human. We're like that. Be good at being self-governing. Be good at being social. Be good at being a living organism in this ecological world. Be a good human. Think about those things. What it takes to live, what it takes to be good human, what it takes to get along, what it takes to be honest and be real. Then you got most of the stuff done. Be competent, be interesting, be a good human, you'll be a good teacher.